So, since I was young, I've dealt with a lot of crummy disasters. I've dealt with that a lot. Crummy disasters. Like something where even still relationships will lead you on as if, yeah, like this could happen, and they're playing like a game where they basically know they don't want that to happen for you or something, but they've kind of communicated to you the opposite. They're like, yes, we want this to happen for you. So it's like an internal fix like they would have to make to like be more like me when it comes down to that kind of stuff. So an example of this would be like partying in general. So partying could mean anything. Like if you get into the philosophy of what it is, the main thing that comes to mind is just people are immature about it. Because what do young people do? Party. That's going to be some of those concept of that is like, oh no, you don't party. Some people party by themselves. Like it's just about like they're either going to have some misunderstanding or some other square venture. When in reality, we can't ever be mature about stuff. Like, so this is how, when you get down to like the substance of things or what does make sense in reality, things that are grounded and have a foundation to them, even ideologies, people, I grew up like that, figuring out, like, easily prone to being manipulated at a young age, because I have a certain meaning to my life where it's not like I'm the oldest spirit in the world, but I'm just like some type of spirit. Like I have like I can always laugh things off. I can take a joke. I can joke around. Like there's a few things that have me at a certain spot. When as far as this world has gone, there is a missing link, like a lesson that is being learned by people kind of currently and has been learned for the past maybe 10 years, 15 years especially. But there's a certain irony to winning, and there's a certain irony to having fortune there's a certain irony there of how effortless it should or could be. So it's been difficult to be like 20 years old and dealing with some adult who's like 40 or 45 who is not trying to have me do nothing. Does that make any sense? They're not planning on me having no fun. So that's going to be someone, and they have it all justified, and there's every excuse in the book why society can keep on running, and they get to project into my reality some huge roadblock why, like, I shouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. Okay, I've dealt with this since I was young. So I'm the type of person now where, there's nothing I can say or do when it comes down to like a good, to fully like change it, like to get that over with, those kinds of people, there's nothing I can quite do, because it's too strong of a force. People, this is going to be what happens and what's incentivized through the rules. Like, in general, like, so it begins with this random anti-mentality, and cancel. So like, when it comes down to like this generation, you have some really smart kids, like who have stuff figured out. But there's every excuse in the book to be uptight as you get older. There's every excuse. Every little thing will be some excuse why everything could be negative. So sometimes you really deal with people like that haven't had that muscle and have allowed themselves at the age of 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, any time, but they fell down into a pool of negativity. because there's every little excuse around to be that way. Not quite. Like, there's plenty of positive people, but this is more of the human conscious community that keeps this running. If it wasn't for the conscious community and people that have a great human frame, that means they just understand human stuff. That means when there's an old lady walking the street or whatever, they don't joke around during human situations. They have a great human frame. But there's this random forbidden understanding of like trying to throw a party. You either have it's in balance. Saying that word makes me feel a certain cringe in my spirit, even just bringing it up, because of how much that word is not to be brought up around many types of people, when again, it could be, the first thing I want to say is it could be anything. It doesn't just mean like I'm not about to dive into someone else's concept of a party and then feel bad or feel some type of way because how they wanted me to feel about that way for bringing up that word. That's not the thought form that really makes sense to me. So, or like right here, right now, or whatever. Like, so, I'm used to this kind of stuff. People being a little bit older spirit about things, like, just like, I'm going to navigate through this money system in my own real way. I'm not just going to easily sell out and easily be this type of way that leads me towards, like, different examples or different scenarios where I'm just going to be, like, super fake about stuff, like, or tell someone something. Like, if someone has something going on, I'm pretty decent at telling them, kind of giving them an idea. The more time they spend around me, I'll just let them know what they're good at. I won't have a dynamic, twisted, weird insecurity that I'm a project onto them that they have to feel so that they cannot find out what they're good at. That's something that I'm good at, is just kind of admitting and being honest, and we're kind of at that place where I'm admitting to them what they're good at. It's like, wow, you're really good at this, or wow, you have a really pretty voice. Like, that's something I'm strong at. Living in that realm is like the opposite of like, what do I do to progress, and what does it look like if I get past the emotion of like some weird form of petty envy? What's the opposite of that? Like, what do people that don't have that, what do they live in? Well, that's something that I'm decent at, is I'm just not like, I might like have someone, like, something random I've noticed is people that like are the type to like build a wave to try to make someone else envious, which at a younger age is basically a thing. And then there's the adult world where like you have just a percentage of people lingering around in that pool of adults who basically still haven't grown up quite, just to be real about it. Then back to what I was saying, so that's always a thing that would make me feel envy. The only time I'd feel envy is if someone's like they're trying to be weird about it. Other than that, as far as like just someone that's genuinely going about their day trying to succeed, I'm not one of those people that has like an instant problem with each little success barrier, like each little thing they've done. Oh, you work out. Oh, why don't you come eat ice cream with me? Oh, you read? Oh, I can't stand reading. And oh, that's weird how you read. Or oh, like anything they have going on like that, I'm real good at that stuff. Like, it's just like, I'll let them know like that's a good thing. Or like vitamins, like, oh, why do you gotta, like, you'd be surprised the random stuff, but just there's little things like that people will be stubborn about to the end of time for some reason. It's just like there's something that happened. There's some substance, there would be some ultimate answer to why, in general, even the word is forbidden. This is like what my channel's about. It's just getting an idea and projecting it out. So yeah, like, I'm this type of person who really doesn't have that whole like I'm gonna forget who the fuck you were in high school or wherever. I'm gonna forget. I don't like gloom over the wrong. It depends on how much time I have. Because I'm not like perfect. Just I'm into like the irony. I've kind of viewed into like a little bit of through meditation, at least, like the irony of and noticed a few inconsistencies with the irony of winning. Yes. Or the simplicity of it. And so, like that, for example, would be that word. Go to someone and say, like, I feel like I'm a winner. Like, what do you think they would have to say? What do you think they would have to say? Usually, yes. No, you're not. I cannot believe that someone is in that space to think that they are a winner. No, they're not. So that's very, very common. Very common to be like that. People are not allowed to do and say as they please because like life shouldn't be like that. So yeah, just road blockage mentalities, roadblocks to success. When then there's the philosophical wisdom side of things. It kind of says like, dude, you can like have things if you invest in minimalism as a guy or girl. You just dabble with minimalism in general. Then there's a whole side of life that's very ironic if you want to review or grade people's lives as, 1 second. Oh, it's in my pocket. But if you were to review and grade people's lives as like a review, right, there's definitely an irony there of like, I think the future's bright. It's just like there's like a portal there of future lives, like a future timing, kind of channeling back into the past and solving a problem because of how smart the future is. Almost a portal where like there's like a time crunch that like got solved. That's random. Does that make any sense? So it'd be like, that would be the reason why there's potentially time travelers amongst us. Is because people finally figured out a machine that matches the intuition, or is on the same level as the intuition, as knowing, like if I read this book and do this and that, I notice the day goes better because that's unlocking future. So it depends on how much you do it, but there's an effect of doing something now, and that's fixing how things are going to go in the future. And so you realize there's a gap there between, there's a slight portal there between, so that's like the ABCs of time traveling, is knowing if I do a positive habit now, then tomorrow's going to be better because of that positive habit. So it's already makes that day better, So like with this law of knowing these ironies of how simple things can be, there's a certain brokenness there. So like if you were to review people's lives, like who's this and that, who's what, definitely ironic. You got all kinds of people just sitting in one example. Would be the ghosts of Summer's jail. Yeah, the ghosts of summertime jail at night. See what you wonder things. You wonder about like why this thing's gotta be so hard, like in some type of way. Like shouldn't things be more decent, right? And that's lost. That's lost traits of charisma or some other shit, right? Potentials that could have been had that wasn't your fault, right? Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have that on right now. So, you have to get to specific habits and things to regain ideas. What I'm talking about is like the type of traits, like the people that, like, there's a few things like you basically don't want to be, and that's like a vampire, someone that is like year-round hypocritical about everything, someone that's really stubborn over like being envious towards people younger than them, which doesn't never, and then they're gonna cover it up, like someone that does not like care the slightest bit for people younger than them. Things need to be stiff and hard, and things need to be real uptight and rule-based and consequence-based. It's all about consequences, to the point where they've developed like a pain body, or whatever you want to call it, officially, where they kind of just enjoy watching, seeing other people's consequences and the way things are. There's not much of an accountability or social justice. There's not really any such of a thing as social justice. Basically, you can do the most uncool thing possible on purpose every single time, and there's nothing they can technically do. You can be as annoying as you want to be, and in America, you can never get fined for that. You can be as annoying as possible, and there's nothing anyone can ever do. So, that's just that. There is no social justice. There's no such thing. Yeah, so like that's something to be good at, is like meditation. Different tonalities can help. Crystals and rocks are like a gateway. It's like a gateway that can help. It depends on like what you do it with it, and if you're coming to it even serious in the first place. But some people are just not going to figure out nothing about crystals, like that type of shit. So it depends. It's a direct correlation with why there's not too much I can really say here. Would be the same reason, is there's really not too much I can say here without getting the video canceled, because of how it'll still be a thing, or like it, depends on the words I use here. But yeah.